my poop, you peasant.
Hello and welcome to the Part-Time Gamers, a gaming podcast for people with full-time lives. I'm Cyranex, clocking in with our guest, Jess Hart of the Opinionated Lushes podcast. Welcome.
Hi, thank you so much for having me on again.
Yes. Well, we had a good time last time, so keep doing it. It's actually, although it's been a while since we had you on. I do want to try and make it a habit of getting a couple more guests on the show. In fact, one thing about this month, we're actually going to have a guest on for every episode this month, which I'm really excited about. So it's been a while since we've done that. Yeah, it's good to have you back, though.
Yeah.
All
Thanks.
And for everyone listening out there, I'm dealing with some kind of throat thing, so I apologize if I cough into the microphone. I'm trying to get some tea and cough drops in, so we'll deal with that. Anyways, let's go ahead and get into our icebreaker.
Nice of you to drop by.
Never heard that one before.
All right, I put the question in here. I already forgot what it was, but I have it revealed now. Okay. What is the strangest habit you can't seem to get rid of? Oh.
Okay, this is kind of like hard because I don't know what is a strange habit. I don't know what other people consider strange.
True.
If I'm doing it so much it's a habit, it's probably not strange to me.
True. I don't know. I mean, the one thing that I can think of, it's like that. I don't know if it's strange, but it's almost compulsory for me. Is whenever I go out to a large body of water, there's a lot of them in Michigan. So whenever I go out to a large body of water, I always try to go down to the shore, and I just look at whatever rocks I can find in the area, and try to find some good flat rocks and do a little bit of skipping on the water. I do that literally anytime I go around any large body of water. Not the most unusual, but it's something that I know that I compulsively do.
You take the back road. You're I don't have time to stop today.
Well, and if I'm out walking around, not driving past, but my wife.
I was imagining you pulling over. You're fuck, I got it. I'm gonna be late home, honey. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Oh no, my
skip rocks.
It sounds like a euphemism, but it's not. But it's my wife likes going out to parks and everything like that. And there's a lot of the national parks around here have lakes around them and everything. So we'll always go over by the water. And anytime we do that, I'll try to look around, find some rocks to skip. And I realized actually not too long ago, it's I do this a lot. It's the closest thing I could probably come to a strange habit that I have. And actually, you might, if you look just over trying to look whichever direction is over here. There. Get my finger in the right place. Those are actually rocks that I've collected. They actually have, I almost said sedimentary. Now I can't think of the word.
Sentimental?
Yes, that one. Thank you. They have a little bit of sentimental value to me because they're I picked up those from a trip with one of my high school friends who I haven't seen in probably 15 years now. And they remind me of spending time with her and everything. But yeah, those were the same thing. It's we were by a body of water. So I was I gotta find some rocks.
Interesting.
Oh, yeah.
I guess my strange habit is video game related, actually.
Yeah.
I get caught in these things called loops. I call them loops. It's how I describe it. It's a loop. And it's where I play a game and I put in so many hours into it and I'm doing the game and everything like that. And then I'm wait, actually, this isn't the way I want it to go. And then I restart it.
Oh, you're not the only person who does that.
To the point I have 600 hours in Stardew Valley. I just started a new farm. Like I've gotten to level year 3 like twice. Like that's it.
Yeah. I haven't quite gotten that extreme yet, but it's like, let's put it this way: when I played through Baldur's Gate 3, I had at one point I had like 60 hours in the game, and about 55 of that was character creation. Just because it's like,
A problem right now too in
yeah,
Baldur's Gate.
it's like you get in this like, okay, like you get through, it's like, cool, this is a cool class, and everything, and you get a couple missions, and it's like, I could do something different with this, and you just restart, and you do that. I did that probably about 20 times before I actually got into the game.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a little bit more
So
extreme though, with like
yeah,
600 hours.
There's like so many games I've never finished, but man, I could almost recite the first level or whatever word for word.
Yeah,
Like it's so bad.
yeah,
So that's my strange habit.
yeah. Well, not really. Well, maybe extreme, but not necessarily strange. Uh,
It's the extremeness that makes it strange.
yeah. That makes sense. I can go with that. Yeah. Yep. So rocks and restarting. Cool.
We're so interesting.
Sure. We'll go with that. Let's go ahead and go to our water cooler talk.
You get that thing I sent you?
All right, let's go ahead and start with your article.
Okay. My article is just talking about a trailer. It's nothing like too crazy, but for anyone that knows me, I love Life is Strange. It was like my favorite game. I love them all, including the newest one, True Colors. I loved that one too. I
Yeah.
don't care. I don't care what people say, but I loved it. And the developer, Don't Nod, just announced their new game coming late 2024 called Lost Records Bloom and Rage. And it's very Life is Strange style, except it's set in the 90s.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty pumped for all that nostalgia. That's what's gonna get me, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I haven't really followed Life is Strange since the first game. I thought the concept behind it, I thought was great. There was a couple little time travel and time manipulation is always a little bit janky, no matter like even the best versions of it. So there are a couple instances where it's like, okay, you like, I remember there's one section where you're trying to get the keys from this guy, and you just go over there, grab the keys, and then time travel, like reverse time back, and you just have the keys somehow before you
Because
would grab them.
items don't time items you're
Yeah.
holding don't time like travel back. Like
Yeah.
they stay with you. Yeah.
So it's a little bit janky that way, but I can understand for the sake of the game and everything. But yeah, I thought the first Life
Play
is
the
Strange was really
second
good.
one. I think the second one is actually almost better than the first, and it
Okay.
takes on a new twist in that you're not the one with the power. Your
Oh, really?
younger brother is.
Okay. Yeah,
So it's a nice, fun little twist.
I know the powers are different in a lot of the games.
Yes.
Is it different in the second one?
Yes,
Okay.
it is different. And True
Okay.
Colors is different. And
Yeah.
in Beyond the Storm, there is no superpower. Chloe just argues with people.
Sometimes that's a superpower.
But yeah, Lost Records looks really cool. It's like in the trailer, it's through like a video camera, like an old school video camera, and yeah, it's like high school friends that get back together after like 20 something years because something happened.
Yeah.
It's very new. Like we they're teasing us a little bit, but it's gonna be episodic. I think only 2. Like I think it's gonna be a 2-parter.
Okay.
That they're releasing separately, but yeah, I'm excited for that.
Cool. It's good to see that the developer is still coming up with new stuff. Yeah.
There's supposed to be new Life is Strange eventually.
Oh, yeah?
They have like talked about like bringing Max back and stuff. So
Okay. Oh, that'll be interesting. Bringing back past characters. Be interesting. All right. Before I bring up the article I actually have in here, I did want to mention one other thing that's been kind of going on this week. So a lot of people the last month or so know that I've really enjoyed Helldivers. Helldivers 2, fantastic game. And they've been in the news this past week because PlayStation are being idiots.
Yeah.
So now, granted, this is not something that actually affects me at all. Apparently, because so what's going on is PlayStation is now enforcing that you need to link your Steam account to a PSN account in order to continue playing Helldivers, which is a game that for the last several months has not had that, apparently for technical reasons. But it's been listed on their Steam page that this is something that's going to be required, but it was not up until this point. And like me, I didn't even know that was a thing. So there's a lot of people who are up in arms about it. Even the leader, the manager of the company of Arrowhead said, "Yeah, this is dumb." It's like, this is not something that we wanted to do. This is something that we had to do because of PlayStation, because they're the publishers, and so they're in literally about 2 days. Helldiver 2's ratings on Steam have gone
Oh, the
from,
reviews, you just see them
oh,
just
yeah, you look at the chart and it's like, okay, really good, like mostly positive, very positive, very high reviews on it. All of a sudden, it literally has gone from like low to mid 90s, 90%. Last time I checked, it was like mid 30s in the last week. Because even one of the community managers on seemed to have a little bit of a fit on Discord, and said just like, change your review to negative. And people were thinking he was being kind of flippant about that. And he came after he calmed down and responded to them again. He's like, "No, I was completely serious. This is dumb." It's like, if you don't want them to do this, if you don't want them to keep doing this, change your review to negative. So I think, like I said, this is something that I'm kind of two minds of this, because it's something that has literally no effect on me, because my Steam account has apparently been linked to a PSN account for years. I literally did not even notice a difference. The biggest problem is, the most legitimate problem I see with this is, there are countries out there that have access to Steam but don't have access to PlayStation. So if they enforce this in those countries, all of those places no longer have access to this game. Period.
yeah.
Now,
That's the one issue I have with it too. I
Yeah.
mean, like, like the account, like a PlayStation account is free to set up.
Yeah.
It's more annoying than anything.
yeah. I mean, the thing is, like, it is a separate account that you need to link to, but it doesn't open up a launcher or anything like that. You're not adding anything really extra to your computer to do it.
It's not gonna be as bad as the game we're talking about today.
Yeah, that was the real boss, was just starting the game. But yeah, like, it's like I said, I didn't even know that this was a thing. It didn't affect me at all. My account's already been linked for probably years now. I don't even know what game did it. But once you link it once, it's linked for forever, pretty much. Unless you manually unlink it. But yeah, like I said, the most legitimate problem is the fact that there are people who have paid $40 for this or more for this game, and have played for, however many, hundreds of hours potentially, and all of a sudden, because of this dumb move from PlayStation, they could potentially lose all of that.
Yeah.
So that I very much understand. But if that's not the case, I don't really see what the problem is beyond that.
Like I said, it's just annoying more than
Yeah.
anything. People don't want to click twice.
Yeah.
They want things to be easy peasy.
But I mean, the thing is, there's so many companies that do something like this already. oh, Microsoft does this, and EA did this for years, where it actually did open up a new launcher. They only like just recently started making it so you don't have to open up the EA launcher to play some of their games on Steam or whatever. I mean, this stuff has been going on for years.
Maybe people are just fatigued. Like,
It could
because
be
it's
that
been
too.
going on for so long, we're just like, no, come on, we've earned this.
Yeah. Yeah. But that being said, one thing that I think is nice is I've been checking up. There's actually a website that I check that has like the major order and personal orders and stuff like that, and how the war is going basically. And it's still going strong. It's still got, like, right now there's still 133,000 people playing the game right now.
Yeah, they're not gonna hurt. Like,
Yeah. So
people already bought the game.
I think it's nice the fact that this, like, people are like changing the reviews to negative, like review bombing this, like with the permission of the developers, mind you.
Yeah.
And but still playing the game, still enjoying the game, which I think is kind of an interesting way of doing it. But yeah, corporate greed. Corporate's going to corporate.
Yeah. Everything's corporate. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm Canadian right now. We're actually boycotting our grocery store chains this month. Canada wide. So
Wow. All right. With that, let's actually get to the article I posted in here, which is a little bit more fluffy. So, Baldur's Gate 3, we were talking about a little bit about this earlier. Well, actually, like literally a few minutes ago, I mentioned Baldur's Gate 3. And everyone who's played it knows it is a magnificent, just magnificent game and just complex as hell. It's like the levels of differentiation you can make with just a couple different choices, or like a battle plays out slightly differently and it changes the complete ending for your game. Has so many different choices. Apparently was going to be even more complicated because they were going to have a feature like they had in Divinity Original Sin, where you could include co-op members into dialogue. So this actually is something that people have wanted, that they did originally were going to implement, but it got so bloated and so just massive that it was just too much to manage. Like
some people don't realize like how much goes into some of these super immersive games that it's like they have to like have the space to like hold that, like it's a lot.
But yeah, like one of the paragraphs in here, we've been trying to experiment with that. The problem is that it's so intensive to get to work. In Original Sin 1, we could actually roleplay dialogue with your partner in cooperative play. We actually had that deeply into Baldur's Gate 3 at some point also, but the problem was our dialogue trees blew up so hard we just couldn't manage it anymore, so we had to cut it all. So it was almost even more complex on top of the already complex. Yeah, on top of the already massive amount of complexity of the game. So, I mean, that's something, like I said, that's something that people were kind of, if there were any gripes about the game, that was one of them. That is like, you couldn't include your allies or anyone else in the dialogue trees. And apparently this is why. Just because of the sheer complexity and how much it was going to bloat it even further.
Yeah, because there's like so much going on. Like sometimes I'm trying something just to be like, this is not gonna work, and then everything blows up. Like I never know what I'm doing in that game.
I mean, yeah, sometimes it's interesting, like the solutions that you can find. Like I think there's one part where you have to try to pull a lever, and the lever's stuck. So you can either, like, if you're a barbarian, you can get some bonuses to try to like force the lever into the other position, and everything. Or if you just happen to have a bottle of grease, you can throw that on the lever and it loosens it up and actually makes it easier to pull.
That was the one I was like joking about because I'm a hoarder, so I loot everything. So like I just happened to, I was like, Tin Man likes grease. Maybe this statue with a lever on it likes grease. And I just like threw it and then it worked. And I was like, how?
Yeah.
I was just being dumb.
Yeah. I mean, it is amazing. Like, or just like, well, I can either fight all of these like 6 enemies in front of me and potentially die, or I can thunderclap and knock them all off the cliff in one go. It's like, or it's like, okay, my ally or my wizard is out of his transportation spells or teleportation spells or anything like that, but he needs to get over there. I'm a barbarian, javelin the wizard over the other side. It's like some of the random stuff you can do in it that just works is fantastic. And now I need to play. I never actually finished my playthrough of Baldur's Gate 3. I got to the 3rd act, and it's like, honestly, the main reason why I didn't finish is because I don't know how I can save Karlach, and I don't know if I can live with myself if she dies.
Which one's Karlach?
The tiefling barbarian.
Oh. I know my playthrough? I just killed her right away, and I just walked away. I didn't know it was a main character. I was told to kill her, so I was like, I'm doing a quest.
All right, so this might be the last time that Jess is on my show.
I didn't know, and then I keep seeing people talking about Karlach, and I was like, wait, who is that?
But even that is a testament to this game. The fact that you can just have a character killed off and just lose their part of the story entirely and play it completely differently.
I did try to bring her back, but I decapitated, so I was like just talking to like the dead head. She was very mad at me, and then I was like, do I restart? What do I do? And I couldn't remember my last save, so it was too late.
The answer to that question is yes, you restart. And that's a whole nother argument with Baldur's Gate is scave scumming, which I did religiously in that game, which I don't really care. I just want. That's another reason why. Going off on a little bit of a tangent here, but that's one of the reasons why I find, for me, Baldur's Gate 3 is a very difficult game to stream. Because streaming the game would mean that I would have to play it in a way that I don't necessarily like. In any of these like choice-driven RPGs, I always try to go a specific way, and if it doesn't go that way, it like almost physically hurts.
Yeah.
So that's something that I need to deal with, and all that jazz. But yeah, excuse me. Yeah, the game. All that to say, with the article, the game was also even more complex, and that's saying something.
My brain couldn't take it.
Yeah, apparently their game
maybe
couldn't take it
either.
either.
Best. Yeah, maybe this was for the best.
Yeah. I mean, I would imagine if they wanted to add that back into something, they probably would have had to pull away from something else or make the choices less impactful or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah. Oh man, I can't imagine it being even more complex. Anyway. So, all right. Before we get back to work, I did want to mention our Patreon. Patreon.com/PTGcast. If you like what you're hearing, like the guests that we bring on, like the topics we talk about, and like the information we give, you can help us with our paychecks each month. Going over to Patreon and throwing us $1, $5, $10, it all helps us, and we really appreciate it. It's patreon.com/PTGcast. And with that, let's go ahead and get back to work.
Morning break is over. Morning break is over.
All right, so our theme for this month is actually one that I've had in the back burner for a while now. It's going to be asymmetrical co-op. So one of the reasons why I have the wonderful Jess with me is because the game we're talking about today is It Takes Two. And I believe it was early last year, early last year. We actually went through the entire game of It Takes Two together on stream. And it was a really fun experience. Really glad that I was able to. We've been trying to get back into. Yeah, we've been trying to get back into doing co-op games, and this April was a wash just because of sickness and just getting busy. But we will get back to some co-op games soon. But yeah, we're talking about It Takes Two, developed by Hazelight, published by EA. $39.99 for Xbox, PlayStation, and Switch, and Windows via Steam. I did find out it is available on Game Pass via the EA Play, which I think is automatically included in Game Pass PC. And the other good part is it does have a free friend pass, which is how we played because you own the game, I do not. So as long as one person of the two owns the game, the other person can have the friend pass, and both of them can play it as long as they're playing together. So in its essence, if I had to describe the mechanics of this game, it's mostly like a third-person platformer, third-person 3D platformer. I mean, most of what you're going to be doing is jumping and slamming down on stuff and everything.
Yeah.
But what I found very unique about this is we were both playing it online, and but despite the fact that we were playing online, it still had a split screen. So we could both see what the other person is doing throughout the whole game, which I think is actually kind of unique in these kinds of games. The other two games we're going to be talking about this month don't have that. They're completely separate screens. I think that was kind of cool how they did that because it gives you that awareness, because both the characters are in the same general area anyways. They travel together for the most part. And it gives you that ability to coordinate between the two players, which is very integral for this kind of game.
I think it also being able to see both screens is very reminiscent of being in the same room playing
Yeah.
a video game together. It made it feel more like we're gaming together. It's
Yeah.
not an online experience,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And other mechanical stuff, they established very early on in the story that it's like your characters are turned into dolls, and by some magical means they never really explain. And they show early on that basically your characters can't die. And it's like if they get knocked out or they get destroyed, the doll gets destroyed, and for whatever reason, it just comes back. Which led to a lot of hilarity ensuing when we were playing it, mostly me trolling you, which was a lot of fun for me at least.
Couples divorcing, and here we
Yeah.
are in our gameplay, and he has to shoot nails for me to grip onto, and then he just will pull the nail away or something,
Like
and
just
I'm like,
before you get to grip it.
how am I supposed to trust you? This is the biggest trust fall ever, and we're failing. Yeah,
We
so
didn't
it
know-
was a scary
you came
experience for me
back.
playing with you. Yeah, I did.
I don't know. I just, especially since we were streaming this whole thing.
Yeah.
Everything is content in my eyes. So
Well, there was also the random parts in the in the different locations that you could interact with that
Yeah.
didn't have any real game anything. They were
Yeah.
just fun to do, and some of those things also killed you. So
yeah,
it was surprise death all the time.
yeah. But again, they established early on, it's like, okay, you're just gonna come back as long as one person is still alive. They'll just come back pretty much immediately, except for boss fights. Boss fights, you actually have to mash the button to come back, and so that there are boss fights in this as well, which those were really interesting, especially for as whimsical as this game looks at times, there are some dark moments in it.
Okay, the first boss.
Yes.
That was what an introduction.
Yeah, the first boss was the vacuum cleaner, and you kill it by forcing its vacuum hoses into its eyes, and sucking its eyes out. Just
kill it. Like that was the thing.
Yeah.
We're like killing fluffy elephants
Yeah.
and stuff. And it's like, why? We're the bad guys
Yeah, it's
here.
like these people are terrible people. It's like throughout the story they're trying to figure out like how to get turned back into humans from these dolls. And that freaking book. Oh,
Oh yeah, the other main character involved
yeah.
in this.
Yeah. There's this book that's like supposed to be some book of like relational device or relational advice or something like that. And it was just the most irritating thing in just whoever portrayed this character did a very good job at making us hate him.
Well, I feel like he was just too much. Like he was there all
Well,
the time, and he was
true.
always too much, and he's always there just to ruin our time. Like that's what his role was in
Yeah.
the story. So automatically we didn't like him.
Yeah. But he
I hate to do this. I will be right back. My daughter just is screaming at me.
okay. No
So
problem.
you keep talking. You keep
All
going.
right. So while Jess goes and takes care of family, I'll continue with some of the mechanics. So, where was I? I was talking about stuff. Oh, boss fights and such. So yeah, it gets really dark at times. Throughout the story, you're trying to figure out how to become human again. Oh, and the obvious gamer answer is, well, you guys are divorcing, so maybe don't do that, and that'll solve it. Spoiler alert, that was the correct answer. But so they're trying to figure out how to become adults, and throughout the story, there's like, well, it was our daughter's tears that turned us into dolls. So maybe if we get our daughter to cry again, we can use that to become humans again. So they just utterly destroy one of her favorite toys, like literally ripping it's this like stuffed elephant. They like rip its ears off, rip its trunk off, just completely destroy this toy to get her to cry.
Crying and begging for its life.
Yeah. Oh, this game gets surprisingly dark at times, and it's unexpected because of how light and fluffy everything looks. To have that kind of stuff in there. But yeah, we were frequently while we were streaming saying it's like we're the bad guys here. We're terrible people.
Yeah, and like we leave our daughter alone this whole time while we're out gallivanting as dolls.
Yeah. Although that wasn't really their choice, though. At least that was kind of forced upon them. But yeah,
How old was this kid? Did we ever determine?
I don't think they explicitly say how old she is, but if I had to guess, probably less than 10.
Yeah. Because just the way she talked and the types of toys she played with, she just seemed very young, and I was just like, the way they told her they were separating.
Yeah.
And she just like, can I go play now? And walks away, and then summons a demon book to turn them into dolls with her tears. Yeah.
But so one thing that is also very unique about this game is the different segments of the game, the different chapters of the game, all have kind of a separate theme and also have separate powers for the characters. And these powers are different for each of the characters as well, and they complement each other. So like early on, you're going through, I believe I can't remember if it was the basement or the attic. Oh, I think it might have been the attic.
Yeah, I think it's the attic.
Yeah, and you find tools. So I don't remember what their names are. It's been a bit since I played it, and I didn't bother writing their names down.
Cody and Rose.
Okay. So yeah, Cody at one point gets these.
No, Rose is the daughter. I lied. I'm a dirty little liar.
If only we had some kind of internet-connected device for which we could look up information in a relatively short amount of time.
May and Cody, I think. No, that might be.
It takes two characters.
Yeah, May and Cody.
Okay, yeah, May and Cody. So now I can address them by name rather than saying the chick and the dude. So at one point, like Cody gets these nails that he's able to throw and like pin things down and everything, and May gets a hammer. Gets a hammerhead that she can like hit platforms up and everything like that. And they're they're complementary powers. So like May will hit this platform, it'll flip up, and Cody has to launch a nail at it in order to lock it in place so both of them can advance. Or so May can try to advance, and Cody pulls the nail back, and she falls to her death, quote unquote death.
Or Cody gets way ahead, and May is stuck
No, that
for a
too.
little bit.
Yeah. So what's very impressive is like each of the different zones has these kind of complementary powers to them. And they don't really give you like a super deep tutorial or anything like that. It's surprisingly intuitive how these abilities work. Oh, and there's a lot of
The
problem solving.
tutorials are like built into the gameplay. They're
Yeah.
built into the story. So you just like naturally are learning it as you're like going through what's going on.
Yeah. And it's very impressive how they do that. How they're just like able to show you how to solve a problem without having to explicitly say, okay, aim at this thing, do this button, everything. It's like, okay, I need to lower this pitcher plant so that we can, walk on top of it or whatever it is, so we can keep on going. It's like, oh, well, May has a water can. Or I don't remember if it was May or Cody who had the water can. Oh, but it's like
One of them held it open.
yeah, that's what it was. Cody is the gardener, so he has a leaf on his head. That's what it was. He could use that as a whip at that point. So he was able to grab the bottom of the pitcher plant, pull it open. May was able to shoot water into its mouth, and activate something
And
like
weigh
that.
things down, yeah.
Yeah. So, and even like the differences in gameplay with all these different mechanics was very well done. There's one section where they're going through like almost like a D&D style like tabletop area. And like I think May had I think ice powers. I think at that point she was like a mage.
So.
Or no, I think it was actually I think this was one of the times that they kind of subverted it. So Cody was the mage, May was the warrior. I think is what it was. Because I'm pretty sure May had like armor and a sword. I think.
Oh, probably. I'm trying to like remember now because I just remember dying a lot. Like that was my signature.
Yeah. But I mean, it's been like I said, we played this like almost a year ago on stream.
Yeah.
I think I'm pretty sure I still have the footage on my computer, but
I got a few highlight clips on my account. I really liked like the one round where like everything's going upside down.
yeah,
Like and you had like that tripped me out so much.
Yeah, that was the space zone where Cody could change his size and May had gravity boots. Yeah.
So I'm just like upside down. I'm like, I have no idea how to get up, but like by walking around on the roof. It was very, very topsy-turvy, but it was a fun like change. Like I feel like that's what it was. There was so much more to this game than I thought there was going to be.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, just like we're saying going through now, just like the breadth of gameplay, how each zone plays differently. So, and they're like just long enough that once you get through to the next zone, like when you're getting to the end of that zone, and it's like starting to maybe get a little bit stale, you go to the next zone and it's completely new again. I thought that was really well done, really well paced. And yeah, like that one section with the like the D&D tabletop where we're going around, it all of a sudden turns into like, Diablo style gameplay where we're going around, like it's an isometric view going through these different corridors. There was one section where Cody is flying a plane and May is fighting a squirrel,
yeah,
like Street Fighter.
Up the squirrels too.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah, and my biggest thing with this game was how the reason they were like divorcing was because the mom had a job.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
the dad was the stay-at-home caretaker. Oh. Yeah.
And I'm like, she's an engineer. Like, give her a break. I don't. But,
I mean, it was more than that, but yeah, they kind of subvert the expectations because the stereotype is that the mother is the stay-at-home mom and the dad is the breadwinner and everything. May is actually the engineer going to work and everything. And Cody is the stay-at-home dad. Oh, so they kind of subvert that a little bit into that. But yeah, she's a freaking engineer, for crying out loud.
Voice acting was amazing.
Yes, that was really well done too.
Yeah.
I mean, all in all, like, just throughout our experience with this game, it was just becoming more and more apparent that it deserved every award it got. I mean, it was best game. It was best game of the year that year that came out. And just with even like the animation style, like the look of everything, like the look of the two characters, May and Cody, you can tell like what substance they're made of. They did very well, very good with the modeling of the two characters. The gameplay felt tight. None of the puzzles were so complicated that you couldn't figure them out after a couple tries.
Yeah. The bosses weren't terribly difficult, but they were still challenging.
Yeah.
Like there was
mean,
a few that.
Yeah. Everything was still, it was a challenge at times, but it was never overwhelming, which is really good. And again, even if it did get somewhat overwhelming at times, the autosave system that they had, the checkpoint system, whatnot, was actually really good. So it's like if you died in one segment, it's like you started almost immediately back at that beginning of that same segment. It's like the random little Easter eggs and mini games that they had throughout there were kind of cool too. It's just, all in all, it's just such a well done game, and really impressed with, again, the kind of breadth of gameplay styles they have, with the characterizations of them. Again, just the surprising kind of twists that it has, with like, okay, we're going to make our child cry by destroying one of her favorite toys and throwing it off a cliff, which is actually the bookshelf. But instead of, like actually solving the problem, which is them getting divorced.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. I already spoiled it earlier, but yeah, spoiler alert, they don't get divorced. And that, guess what, solves the problem. Anyway.
I think like the one thing with the game is like, because it has there's so many different gameplays, as well as like the bonus mini games and stuff. It both breeds like co-op and working together, but also a sense of competitiveness.
Yeah.
So you're like both like competing, but also having to solve problems together. And I feel like that kind of made it fun, because it's like, oh, I'm beating you. And then you're like at the end waiting for me because I keep dying.
And then
but you can't go farther until I can open the door. You know?
That's
like,
true. Yeah. It's like, oh, there's a flaw in my plan. But also for the part-time gamer aspect of this game is very easy to take into chunks. Again, with that checkpoint system, you could drop out pretty much at any time and start right back up almost where you left off. I mean, we did it on stream. We were only streaming for like an hour and a half each time. And, even that way, it only took us like a couple months. And that was with a bunch of breaks in between.
Yeah, I was going to say, we were taking like breaks in between, but coming back to the game, like, you didn't like forget all the controls right away. Like within like, a little bit of like just moving around, you're like, oh yeah, okay, I got it. I remember what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So
and again, that lends to that intuitive nature of the mechanics they were introducing and how it controlled and everything. I do really like the fact that they have that friend pass, so only one of you needs to own the game. That's very helpful, especially because this game has to be played co-op. It cannot be played solo with an AI or anything like that. So I think that was cool. An actual good choice from EA to do that.
well, that's why I appreciated you like playing with me, because I had this game for like a while. I was like, I want to play this game, but I have no one to play it with.
But yeah, then
you have to have friends.
Yeah, you just asked like out of the blue. It's like, hey, I got this. Do you want to play with me? It's like, sure, why not? Let's do it on stream.
Yeah.
And it worked out pretty well. And that kind of like led to like our current like co-op gaming stuff, which we got at some point we got to discuss whether we want to stick with Lethal Company or maybe switch to something else.
Yeah, I'm game for whatever.
Yeah, because
I'm open.
potentially the other two games we have this month would also be really good options.
Yeah.
Because they're both co-op games as well. But like I said, bottom line, this game deserved every award it got. Is very well done. That's why it's still like if you look at lists of like best co-op games, this is still like arguably number one on most of those lists. Just the intuitive gameplay, the varied gameplay, the having to work together, is very well done. So definitely worth a try if you have friends. If you don't,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm sorry.
That's the challenge. Step 1, make friends.
Yeah. Step 3, make dessert. Yeah. All right. I think we pretty much covered everything on this. So, everyone, if you like what you've heard and you'd like to help us out, you can give us a review over on Apple Podcasts. You can follow my Twitch and or my YouTube channels for our live recordings, normally Sunday nights starting at 9:15 Eastern Standard Time. This week, we
I was unavailable Sunday.
Yeah, because you're too popular. You're already on another show on Sunday this week.
I do
so.
have another podcast tomorrow. Yeah.
So, but I'm very thankful for you coming here on a Saturday night to record. But yeah, normally Sunday nights starting at 9:15 Eastern Time is when we start our tech check and pre-show. Start the show proper at 9:30. Or if you'd like to help us with our paychecks, you can become one of our patrons over at patreon.com/ptgcast. And we'd like to thank our board member, Stephanie Hurst. Thank you very much for
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you very much for supporting us. We really do appreciate it. If you'd like to contact us, you can with our email, parttimegamers.cast@gmail.com, or you can join our Discord. Join our Discord. Yes, that's exactly right. Join our Discord channel. Everyone, thank you for listening. Join us next week. I'm going to be discussing another asymmetrical co-op game, Operation Tango. And we're going to be talking with TV's Travis from Wait You Haven't Seen. Really excited to talk to him about that. He played that with another person I've been trying to get as a guest who is just busy in general. But we're going to be talking about that next week. I'm Sean. You can find the show and the rest of my work and links to the socials, including the Discord channel and the Twitch and my Twitch and YouTube channels and the Apple Podcast listing. Jeez, this whole throat thing is throwing off my words. Using the link bit.ly/CI Productions. You can find Ember's work online at 9of12.com, NINEOF12.com. And you can find some of Theo's work over at swellcast.com/thatoneweirdo. All right, Jess, where can people find you around the internet?
Okay, well, it depends what you're looking for. If you're looking for music, you can find me at Jessica Hart, HART, wherever you stream your music. If you're looking for a fun 18-plus podcast involving 3 female drunks and our opinions, you can listen to Opinionated Lushes, new episodes every Friday, wherever you find your podcast, or you can go to opinionatedlushes.com for more information about us, as well as you can follow me at twitch.tv/varietyjess, where on Mondays, for the most part, I stream with this guy right here.
Yep.
And then I stream other games sometimes, like indie horror games, or like right now, Telltale games.
Yeah, I've been seeing the notifications. They've been going through the Expanse Telltale series.
The Expanse, yeah. I keep missing things because I keep thinking there's not that much. It's a Telltale game, but there is much. I was so surprised.
All right. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting back to streaming on Mondays. Kind of miss that, but just life. Just busy.
Just life. Well, thank you again, Sean, for inviting me. I'm always down to clown. So
that's one of the reasons why I wanted to talk about this game first this month, because I figured that you'd be the one most readily available.
Thank you. You're like, I knew you didn't have plans.
That is not what I meant. Kind of, but still. Not in that tone, at least. Not. Yeah. Anyways,
I got you.
Yeah. It's just the other two guests I wasn't quite sure about. I was more sure about you than the other two, so that's why I wanted to start with you. Anyway, everyone, until next time, we are the Part-Time Gamers clocking out.